So an investigation by Pablo Torre sure makes it look like the Clippers illegally paid Kawhi Leonard $28 million to play for them. It looks like the Clips went around the salary cap because their owner is the richest dude in sports. I mean, what's the point of having $150 billion if I can't even spend it? Gotta play by the rules? Well, they may have found a way to get around that. But if this is all true, then the Clippers would be screwed. I mean, the last time that something like this happened was 1999 when the Timberwolves paid a player under the table. When the NBA found out, they took away 5 first-round draft picks and voided that player's contract. That means the NBA could investigate the Clips and be like, oh yeah, Kawhi, you're not on the Clippers anymore, buddy. That means Kawhi could suddenly play for any other team in the NBA in the next few months. That would change the entire season. And they take away draft picks for the Wolves in 99. This crushed any hope of them being competitive, and it wasted Kevin Garnett's prime. But what the Clippers may have done is even worse. Can you imagine if the NBA basically announces the death penalty here? And what would that look like? Well, it turns out the new CBA just rewrote the punishment for breaking salary cap rules like this. We'll break it down, but you have to watch this investigation by Pablo Torre, link in the description. But I will summarize what he found because it's insane. So there was a climate change company called Aspiration that turned out to be a huge fake, okay? Their co-founder was arrested for lying to investors, defrauding them for hundreds of millions of dollars. One employee says that they claim to plant trees for the environment, but they never actually checked to see if any of those trees were real. Oh, but they did pay a lot of celebrities to endorse them, like Drake and Robert Downey Jr., but their biggest contract was for Kawhi Leonard. He got $28 million to endorse Aspiration, but there is zero evidence that Kawhi has ever mentioned them at all. Like, not even a tweet or a like. Oh wait, there is this one tweet from the Clippers wishing Kawhi happy birthday, brought to you by @Aspiration. But if you click on it, it brings you to this page with 38 followers. What's going on? But he still gets that $28 million check for endorsing. Why? Well, you might remember in 2019 when Kawhi was a free agent, his uncle Dennis was heavily involved and it was shady. Teams reported that Dennis demanded part ownership of the team, a private plane that would be available at all times, a house, and a guaranteed amount of off-court endorsement money that they could expect if Leonard played for their team. Oh, really? And when Kawhi signed with the Clips, other teams were like, the Clippers? I guarantee Steve Ballmer met some of those demands. But the NBA investigated and found no evidence indicating that the Clippers had granted any of those lavish requests. But the underlying message from the commissioner Adam Silver remains. He sees salary cap circumvention as a cardinal sin in the NBA, and if any relevant evidence of improper benefits surfaces in the future, the league will reopen the investigation. Threat of suspension for executives was openly discussed, as was the potential for a loss of draft picks or even the voiding of player contracts. So it sounds like Adam Silver has a decision to make. Is he going to come down hard on the Clips and Kawhi? Or is he going to be the soft player commissioner that people say he is, unlike David Stern? Well, salary cap circumvention is actually really tough to prove. In fact, the Clippers and Ballmer say this is all false and they can prove it. But this next part is going to be really hard for them to explain. If there was ever a smoking gun in this scandal, this is it. In Kawhi's contract with Aspiration, it basically says that he doesn't have to endorse them at all if it conflicts with his beliefs, whatever that means. So Kawhi really calls the shots here, except for one thing. His $28 million contract will be voided if he does this one thing. If Leonard is no longer an employee of the team for any reason, is a member of another NBA organization, or has retired, either of those instances shall qualify as a triggering event for the termination by the company. So basically, we will pay you $28 million if you play for the Clippers. How much more obvious can this get? But this is just Aspiration, some company, not Steve Ballmer. Except that Steve Ballmer did huge big money deals with Aspiration, including investments, an arena deal with Intuit Dome, but Ballmer personally invested $50 million through his LLC, and 7 former employees told Pablo Torre Ballmer's investment is what allowed Aspiration to pay Kawhi the $28 million. Wow. So it really looks like Steve Ballmer paid Kawhi a huge bonus through a company in secret to try to get around the salary cap. But what did Kawhi do for him in return? Well, it turns out that $28 million was not part of Kawhi's first deal with the Clips. That would have been too obvious. It was part of his second deal. That second deal extension was for 4 years, $176 million, considered team-friendly at the time. Then he did another team-friendly deal, taking less than the max last year. But why would a guy with Kawhi's injury issues ever do a team-friendly deal? Well, now we know why. But, like I said, there are a lot more interesting details here to this investigation, so I recommend that you watch the full thing by Pablo Torre. But what does this mean for the Clippers going forward? Well, right now, they have two timelines going on the court. The first one is like Kawhi, James Harden, Bradley Beal. They go like 10 or 11 guys deep to win now. They have one of the best off seasons in the NBA. And at the same time, in 2027, their books are clear to sign a big free agent, just restart, have a new era. This is one of the best times in Clippers history. With a good roster now, a solid plan in the future, and a great coach. Well, all of that could get crushed by what happens next. If Adam Silver voids Kawhi's contract, then their best player goes out the door. If he takes away draft picks, like the Wolves, rebuilding in the future is impossible. Because right now, the only picks that they control outright are 2030, 31, and 32. Can you imagine if it all gets taken away? Remember, the Wolves got docked 5 first-round picks, only 3 were enforced. But 3 is all the Clippers have. It takes their future off the table. They could be in basketball hell the next 10 plus years if this happens. Like, we all thought, oh, Steve Ballmer, he's one of the great owners in the NBA. Not anymore. Due to his dumb actions, he may have just screwed this team right when they were gaining ground on the Lakers. Unless it turns out the new CBA that was just signed actually redefines punishment for breaking salary cap rules. In the new CBA, it says there are 4 things that the NBA can do to a team that breaks those rules. A fine up to $4.5 million for the first offense, fine of $5.5 million for the second, and any of the subsequent offenses. Oh, the forfeiture of 1 first-round draft pick, and contracts or transactions that violated league rules can be voided. And this whole Kawhi thing is the only offense that was found. So technically, the Clips may have 1 violation, fined $4.5 million, and at most have 1 pick taken away. I mean, the Kawhi contract that this was all involved in was for 2021. He already played that out. You cannot void it at this point. That was like 2 contracts ago. Steve Ballmer may get away with this with a slap on the wrist. Like right now, we are seeing all kinds of articles and tweets about, oh, the Clippers are screwed. But do not be surprised if it is just a slap on the wrist. Still, this was an amazing investigation. And if true, we are seeing NBA history, okay? No team has been caught going around the salary cap this bad. Now we have to wait and see what Adam Silver is going to do about it. But we do know that Kawhi is not going to be on the 2028 Olympic roster. Who is going to be repping the Americans, though? It's a big question because a lot of the dudes will be aged out by then, and the rest of the world has already caught up.